Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing ThaiVisa.com, and my hat's off, little tip of the hat, my thanks to ThaiVisa.com and some of the forum members over there. They went ahead and were discussing one of our prior videos. Specifically, though, they were discussing some comments I specifically made in the comment section in response to remarks that were made in prior videos regarding Thai retirement visas. And the specific issue that came to the forefront was many of the peoples in Thai visa, or I should say many of the commentators or forum posters in Thai visa thought that issues surrounding medical insurance and Thai O retirement visas sounded strange. Specifically, one comment I thought pretty well sort of got to the heart of what we were dealing with in there. And that states, quoting directly, issue is that he says he has personally dealt with people who were initially on non-O, not non-OA, who were seeking extensions, and that these individuals were required to have health insurance. We have not read anything yet on Thai Visa about this. In fact, many have posted this was not required when they renewed recently. Who would you believe? And going back to just quote directly what I said, I have personally dealt with multiple cases in the past 60 days in which individuals have been extending as O retirees, have been required to obtain medical insurance in order to maintain their status moving forward. Now, to be clear, that did happen. I'll go into some of the details on that. And I did deal with multiple cases. I haven't dealt with any here recently, but right after these regs came down in sort of the in the fourth quarter of 2019, after the new medical exam regulations came out or enacted, I did deal with people. I dealt with a lot of correspondence surrounding retirement visas and medical insurance in many different ways, if you will. I should say under many different sets of circumstances. Two different clients came at me at that time that were actually married to Thai spouses. They were actually in two different provinces. And they told me, yeah, we have retirement visas. We're being told by the local immigration office that we've got to have medical insurance. And I basically had to look at what was going on. They were in retiree status. And basically I said, well, one way to get around that is let's go ahead and get you guys marriage visas, because that has a lower threshold for finances, and the medical insurance requirements do not pertain specifically to marriage visas, at least at the time of this video and at that time. So in both of those cases, there was a marriage component that was going on. This happened shortly after the regs came down. Two different provinces. I have taken a lot of flack, again, in comments both on our channel and I believe on ThaiVisa.com as well, although I can't point specifically to it at this time. Off the top of my head, I think that's right, but I'm not gonna say that 100%. I definitely know in comments on our channel that there were folks who thought it was odd that I would not mention specific immigration offices or specific facts involving the case. Look, I have a duty of confidentiality with respect to my clients, and I can't just be divulging information that could be used to infer who the person at issue was, where that information came from, and also it's not particularly what I'm looking to do with this channel to put specific immigration offices on the spot regarding things that they do. These regulations were vague. I've gone over this many, many times. When they were implemented, I don't think line officers had a full grasp of exactly what was going on with respect to these, and under those circumstances, calls were made, information was given out that sort of in the fog of the moment might not have been perfect, but people had to deal with, and that's just sort of the way things work. There were other instances. Those were the two cases I dealt with specifically where I saw the passports and I saw the status that both of these individuals were in. Both of these individuals just coincidentally happened to both be married to Thai nationals. Now, I'm not certain if perhaps the immigration officers in question were both sort of trying to nudge, for lack of a better term, those folks over into marriage status as it was kind of a, for lack of a better term, better status for them to be in. I can't say for certain what was in the mind of those folks. That being said, I did see their documentation. They were in O retiree status. We moved them over to marriage visas because they had been told, or at least they told me they had been told, that they had been denied an extension because they didn't have medical insurance. Again, could have something to do with they were married and the officer in question perhaps wanted them to go ahead and get over into a marriage visa. There's a certain element when you're dealing with, I hesitate to use the term bureaucrat, but that basically probably is the best descriptor here, where you're dealing with someone that deals with this all the time. They kind of have a certain sense of order within the system that they like to see. So I could see an immigration officer saying, oh, you need to get over into marriage visa status, and they kind of nudge you that direction. That being said, that's what went down with those specific cases. Those occurred within a couple of weeks of the regs coming down. After that, I received a number of emails from different individuals saying that they had an O retirement visa and they were being asked to have medical insurance. In most of those cases, I would inquire further and find out it was an OA. In a couple of those, I would inquire further and I would find out that those individuals were, like, they had left the country, they were just done with it, they sort of threw up their hands, or I got no response. And I never saw the actual documentation with respect to those visas specifically. So I don't know on the plethora of emails that I got, because I never actually saw the passports. On two specific cases, though, shortly after the regs came down, those cases were converted into marriage visas. Yes, they were O retirement status visas. And no, we didn't ultimately extend them with medical insurance. What we did is moved them to a marriage visa and went at it from there. Where basically, now they're basically dealt with and they'll continue to extend in marriage status. Something I really didn't appreciate in the comments from ThaiVisa.com is this implied and sometimes explicitly stated notion that I'm trying to mislead people on this channel. That is not at all my intention with respect to this channel. The information I'm trying to provide, and yeah, if I do seem somewhat pessimistic at times, it's because that's kind of part and parcel with my job. As an attorney, you have to be, and in any kind of legal service, you have to kind of be looking at the worst case scenario, or at least maintain it in the back of one's mind. I thought it was interesting that when I was sort of, for lack of a better term, accused of being misleading, that I kind of thought of folks who told me in comments that I was somewhat insane, for lack of a better term, in presuming that the income affidavit would come to an end. I remember comments specifically, I specifically remember one on Facebook where someone told me, oh, they won't get rid of income affidavits, and within about 6 months, or even less time, I think actually, the income affidavit was revoked and that was no longer something that could be used. So I'm not trying to mislead anyone here. The fact is there are multiple different cases that are going on at any given time, and, you know, to use a colloquialism from where I'm from, there's a million ways to skin a cat. You know, some immigration officers are going to make findings differently than others. It kind of comes with the territory of having this factually driven and discretionarily driven adjudication process with respect to immigration. You could just get some rather wild findings when dealing with the system. And another thing that was brought up by other commenters, you know, again, quoting directly from this one comment, we have not read anything yet on ThaiVisa about this. Well, you know, as commenters later pointed out, just because it's not on ThaiVisa does not necessarily mean that it's not anywhere. You know, I mean, just because people don't post to ThaiVisa doesn't mean it didn't actually happen. The other thing is, somebody else commented, he never said all or most O cases. That's correct. This happened a few times. I did say multiple. At the time, I was kind of conflating a lot of the emails I got, but yes, I did see more than one case involving an O retiree. Again, both of them ended up over in marriage status, and I don't exactly know why that finding was made, but it simply was. There was a final comment on there which basically went so far as to say, this is the attorney, I think I can find it here. well, basically, I'm not going to go ahead and quote that one, but basically it was implying, I had said something about TRICARE in the past with respect to medical insurance. It was implied in one of the comments that the fact that TRICARE has yet to be officially designated as something that's accepted with respect to medical insurance states that I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever you want to say. If you go back to my video specifically on TRICARE, I've never said that I think it's going to be. I think it's possible. I do think that immigration is probably, when they get around to it, these regulations have not been out that long. I'm making this video in February of 2020. These regulations came down at the very end of October 2019. It takes a while to see how this stuff all shakes out. As I said in that prior video, the TRICARE issue, I don't think they're particularly looking to get rid of TRICARE holders and recipients. At the same time, we don't exactly know what they're doing with respect to the specifics on medical or designated approved medical insurance. I think there could be a day in the future where a revision happens with respect to this overall policy and they decide that TRICARE holders are eligible to extend without needing any further coverage. I think that's definitely a possibility for a variety of different reasons. I never said it was happening. I never said it was a foregone conclusion that it would happen. I simply said I thought it was possible, and I think, for lack of a better term, I think it's a good idea. I think it would be in line with overall policy and the reason for the policies being implemented, but I never said it was going to be brought in specifically. So the thing to take away from that is I'm not talking in absolutes here. I'm simply talking in terms of what I think may be possible with respect to how this could evolve, and I'm trying, where possible, to provide some sort of foresight with respect to how this all might ultimately play out. One final note, and I've noted it many times in many commentaries, both on video and in writing, the designation between O-A and O is an internal one that I have found nowhere outlined either at law or a specific regulation which creates a hard and fast distinction between these two labels. These are labels which are simply used internally by Thai immigration, also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I don't believe that it is overly prudent in a very long-term sense to presume that for now and evermore there will always be this distinction between O versus O-A category, or I should say labeled visas. I don't think that that is going to be how this plays out in the much longer term. Exactly when that changes, I do not know, but I think it's fairly safe to presume that at some point, well, I shouldn't say presume, I think it's possible that at some point in the future, someone will say, look, we're going to consolidate those two labels. There's no point in this distinction because there really isn't one there. It all falls under the same category under the Immigration Act, and we're going to treat them all the same. Exactly when that happens, I don't know. Exactly will that happen? I am not saying that it will, but I think it is something to be aware of in the back of one's mind that it could happen at some point in the future. We hope you find our videos insightful. If so, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you can receive up-to-date notifications of legal news in Thailand and the United States.